The bond between a human and a cat is an intricate, invisible thread woven through months or years of consistent, predictable interaction. Because cats are both predators and prey in the natural world, their trust is not given freely. It is a hard-won currency earned through a series of successful safety checks. As an expert in feline behavior, I have seen these bonds take years to build and only seconds to shatter. When people say their cat turned on them or suddenly became fearful, it is rarely a random act. Usually, the owner has committed a feline cardinal sin, a breach of the biological contract that governs how a cat feels safe in their environment. To understand how to maintain this trust, we must look at the specific actions that signify a total betrayal in the mind of a cat. The most immediate way to destroy a cat's trust is through the violation of their bodily autonomy for the sake of human amusement. This often happens in the form of pranking or forced interaction. In the age of social media, we see videos of people scaring their cats with cucumbers, wearing terrifying masks, or trapping them in small spaces for a laugh. To a human, this is a joke. To a cat, this is a life-threatening breach of security. Their home is supposed to be the one place on Earth where they do not have to look over their shoulder for a predator. When the person who provides their food and safety suddenly becomes a source of unpredictable fear, the cat's nervous system goes into a state of chronic high alert. They no longer see you as a protector, they see you as a chaotic element that could strike at any moment. Once a cat associates your presence with a jump scare, that association can take years of counter-conditioning to erase. Another profound betrayal of trust occurs through the use of physical or vocal punishment. Cats do not have the cognitive hardware to understand discipline in the way humans or even dogs do. They do not connect a swat on the nose or a screaming voice with an action they performed 3 minutes ago, like scratching the sofa. Instead, they simply learn that you are a source of pain and loud, aggressive energy. Punishment doesn't teach a cat to stop a behavior. It teaches them to fear the person delivering it. When you hit or scream at a cat, you aren't training them. You are fundamentally breaking their spirit and their sense of safety. They begin to view your reaching hand not as a source of affection, but as a weapon to be dodged. This leads to a defensive cat, who may eventually bite or scratch proactively because they assume they are about to be hurt. One of the most subtle but damaging ways to lose a cat's trust is by ignoring their consent signals during physical touch. Every cat has a unique map of where they like to be petted and for how long. Many cats suffer from what we call overstimulation aggression, where the repetitive motion of petting builds up static electricity or simply becomes physically irritating to their sensitive skin. A cat will almost always give warning signs: a twitching tail, ears rotating backward, or a tensed body. If you ignore these signs because he's just so soft, you are telling the cat that their communication doesn't matter. When you force a cat to endure touch they don't want, you are violating their boundaries. Eventually, the cat stops giving warnings and goes straight to a hiss or a bite, and they stop seeking you out for affection because they know you won't let them leave when they've had enough. We must also talk about the betrayal of the safe haven. For a cat, certain areas, like their litter box, their high perches, or their hooded beds, are sacred. They are places where the cat feels most vulnerable or most secure. If you reach into a cat's safe spot to drag them out for a vet visit or to show them to a guest, you have effectively eliminated their last line of defense. A cat who feels they have no place to hide is a cat in a constant state of stress. This stress manifests in suppressed immune systems, inappropriate urination, and a total withdrawal from social life. To maintain trust, you must respect the sanctuary rule. If the cat is in their safe spot, they are off limits. Forcing a confrontation in their only place of peace is a psychological blow that is very hard to recover from. Trust is also eroded through environmental instability. Cats rely on a predictable routine to feel in control of their territory. If you frequently move their food bowl, change their litter brand without a transition period, or constantly rearrange the furniture, you are creating a world that feels unstable. While this might not seem like a direct act against the cat, they perceive it as a failure of your leadership as the manager of the territory. They stop looking to you for cues on how to behave and instead become hyper-vigilant. This anxiety often looks like a loss of trust as the cat becomes skittish and refuses to settle in your lap. They are waiting for the next earthquake in their daily life, and they don't believe you have the power or the desire to keep their world consistent. Finally, trust can be lost through the betrayal of the scent. A cat's world is built on olfactory maps. They rub their cheeks on you and your furniture to create a group scent that signals safety. When you come home smelling intensely of another cat, or if you use harsh chemicals and heavy perfumes that mask their scent markers, you become a stranger in your own home. More importantly, if you bathe a cat unnecessarily, you are literally washing away their identity and their hard-earned security blanket. Unless medically necessary, bathing a cat is an aggressive act in their eyes. It is a forced removal of their scent that leaves them feeling naked and exposed. The frantic grooming they do after a bath isn't just to get dry, it's a desperate attempt to put their self back on. To rebuild trust after a mistake, you must adopt the rule of 3. 3 seconds of petting, then stop and see if they want more. 3 feet of personal space when they are eating, and 3 weeks of absolute consistency to prove you are no longer a threat. You must become a boring, predictable, and quiet presence. Stop trying to fix the relationship with more contact, and instead offer the gift of silence. Let the cat come to you. When they finally do, don't grab them. Just offer a slow blink or a quiet word. Rebuilding trust is like filling a bucket one drop at a time, but remember that a single act of betrayal can tip the whole bucket over. Being a cat's person is a privilege that requires constant vigilance over your own behavior. If you respect their body, their space, and their need for a quiet life, they will reward you with a level of loyalty that is as profound as it is silent.